Hello dear student, I am going to explain you class 12th Vistas book, first chapter, the third level, written by Jack Finney. Jack Finney described how he found himself on the third level at the Grand Central Station. The rail authorities swore that there were only two levels at the Grand Central, but the narrator claimed to have been on the third level. He had seen the old world charms of 1894. His psychiatrist friend called it a waking dream wish fulfillment. The third level was a medium of escape for Charlie from the harsh realities of modern life. It provides him a base he could interview his fantasy and reality there. So, in this chapter, the pedestrian of New York Central and the New York, New Havens, and Hartford railroads will swear on the stack of timetables that were only two, but I say there were three because I have been on the third level of the Grand Central Station. They have been taken the obvious step. I walked to a psychiatrist, friend of mine among there. I told him about the third level at Grand Central Station, and he said it was waking dream wish fulfillment. He said I was unhappy, that mad, my wife kind of mad, but he explained that he meant the modern world is full of insecurity, fear, war, worry, and all of the rest of it, and that I just want to escape. Well, who doesn't? Everybody I know want to escape, but they don't wander down in any third level at Grand Central Station. So here narrator Charlie claimed that he has been on the third level of the Grand Level Station. The rail authorities swear that there is only two levels Grand Central Station, and Charlie consulted his psychiatrist friend. He tells him about the third level story. At the Grand Central Station, his friend calls it a waking dream wish fulfillment. He tells that Charlie remain unhappy. His wife has become almost mad. The modern world is full of insecurity, fear, wars, and worries. But that's the reason, he said, and my friends all agreed, everything point to it. They claimed my stamp collecting, for example, that's a temporary refugee from reality. Well, maybe, but my grandfather didn't need any refugee from reality. Things were pretty nice and peaceful. In his day, from all I hear, and he started my collection. It's a nice collection too. Block of four. Practically every US issue, first day cover, and so on. President Roosevelt collected stamp too. He said in a way that this is not a quality of a mad person to collect their stamps, because President Roosevelt also collected stamp too. Anyways, here what happened at the Grand Central one night last summer. I was late at the office. I was in a hurry to get up down to my apartment, so I decided to take the subway from Grand Central because of it's faster than the bus. Now I don't know why this should have happened to me. I'm just an ordinary named Charlie, 31 years old, and I was wearing a tan gabardine suit and straw hat with a fancy band. I passed a dozen men who looked just like me, and I wasn't trying to escape from anything. I just wanted to get home to Lucia, my wife. So the narrator is saying that he is not a mad person. He is like the simple man who the other people are like that. He wear this suit and gabardine suit and straw hat and fancy band, and as the other people were like that, and he would not like to escape from the reality, but he wanted to go home back to his wife. I turned into Grand Central from Vanderbilt Avenue and went down to step on to the first level where you take trains like 20th century. Then I walked down another flight to second level where the suburban trains leave from duct into the arched doorway headings for the subway, and got lost. That's easy to do. I have been and out of Grand Central hundreds of times, but I am always bumping into new doorways and stairs and corridors. Once I got into tunnel about the mile long and come out in the lobby of Roosevelt Hotel. Another time I came up in an office building on 46th Street, 3 blocks away. So every time when Arthur moves towards his home, every time he found the new level. First he goes down the steps to the first level, then he walks down to the second level where the suburban trains leave from. He enters an arched doorway heading for the subway and get lost. It is very easy to get lost at the Grand Central. Narrator is saying that something I think Grand Central is growing like a tree, pushing out new corridors and staircases like roots. He said that Grand Central Station is like a tree and it uprooted its corridors and staircases like its roots. There's probably a long tunnel that nobody knows about, the feeling it weighs under the city right now, on its way to Times Square and maybe another to Central Park. And maybe because for so many people through the years, Grand Central has been an exit, the way of escape. Maybe that's how the tunnel I got into, but I never told my psychiatrist friend about that idea. So every time when he moves into the tunnel, he found the Grand Central is growing like a tree and pushing out its corridor and staircases. But once he got into a tunnel about the mile long and come out in the lobby of the Roosevelt Hotel. Another time he came up in the office building in 46th Street. For so many people, the Grand Central has been an exit, a way of escape. It is quite possible that the long tunnel provide for Charlie a way of escape too. Here in this label, Charlie find only a few people, ticket window and gates and information booth in the center and made of wood. It is old looking and sees flickering open flamed gaslight. There were brass spittoons and on the floor. People wear derby hats and four-button suits. He has never seen so many sideburns and fancy mouse checks in his life. He catches a glimpse of very small career and I have a locomotive. Then he walks over and looks shop and buys a copy of The World. The World has not been published for a year, but the copy of the buys was printed on June 1894. This is the first part of the first chapter of Vistas, the third level, written by Jack Finney, and I will continue the second part in second video.